welcome back to Collected Works. That was a couple of songs from the Red Shoes, which I almost called The Line Across the Curve, the name of
Because
the
that's the
accompanying
movie
movie.
based on the. Yeah.
Now, you had a correction from last week's
I
episode.
did. Last week you said that I didn't buy any new music after you were born.
I believe the
You were
exact
the
quote
be all
was.
and end all of my music interests.
I believe the exact quote was, "You kind of stopped buying new music
Well,
after I
I
was
didn't.
born."
I didn't work. I wasn't working. I was working at home raising you. I didn't have my own money anymore. So, and also, it's expensive raising a kid.
And
So,
and records were so expensive
re-
before the digital age.
and that was the last Kate Bush thing I got on vinyl.
Mm.
Oh wait,
I
no,
was gonna say
not
that
even.
wasn't released on
That was the
vinyl
first. Yeah, that was the. It was
back
way before
then.
that was last. That was a cassette I had.
You did have a cassette because I
Yeah.
played that cassette a
Um.
lot.
But yeah, you were 2 years old when this came out. But I still, man, I still got it. There were certain things that were, important enough to ask for Christmas or something.
Like you definitely have a gap in like Paul McCartney discography from that era.
Mm.
You were listening. You still bought Crowded House albums, that's for sure.
Well, there weren't many of them.
Yeah. No, there were a lot when I was a kid though, because it was what 1990 or 91 was Woodface,
Oh well, yeah.
and then like
But like I said,
93 was
every
Together Alone.
Christmas and birthday, I could catch up a
You
little
were
bit.
just like they might be giants, just aren't that important to me.
Well, and also I, didn't go to as many places to see. Oh,
Mhm.
hey, there's a new one out, and there was no internet then, people, so you didn't know.
I
It's
will
hard to
real
keep up.
quick. I would like to mention. So on 92.9, Brian Phillips had a whole promo for or I still call it CD 101 shirts.
Hmm.
Now you went to a lot of concerts presented by CD 101 back in the day, I think,
Probably.
including possibly, although I'm not positive, because it might have been before the station. You went to the Them of a Giants show at Stash's, right?
Yes, I did.
So in the promo that Brian does, there's like a joke about the guy that saw Nirvana at Stash's.
Oh
And
man.
Stash's has been, which they did play there.
Stashes was like the size of a
Yeah,
shoebox, and
so
the stage was this tall, so they were right there on the floor with you, and the ceiling was so low that when they were on that little stage, they might be giants were able to push those big tall hats on their heads with the ceiling.
I think the closest we have now is like, well, Rumba Cafe is not huge, but I think Ace of Cups has a lower stage, and it's kind of like in a corner. But yeah, Stash's has been gone for a long time now, so I just thought a Stash's story would be interesting.
But also, one thing about this, uh, for some reason, there was like late promotion or something,
The line across the
and it
curve.
got nominated for a Grammy, not the record, the video,
Mm-hmm.
nominated for Grammy in 1996,
That's very
which is
strange.
like 3 years after it came out. I don't know why.
Which we should also mention with the line across the curve, which we're going too heavy into this. We need to get to the next album. But the line across the curve stars Kate Bush and Miranda Richardson, who later played a lot of different characters. She was in the Harry Potter movies as Rita Skeeter. You definitely recognize her. And then who's there's a
Oh, Lindsay Kemp's in it. Lindsay Kemp, the guy who taught Kate Bush and David Bowie mime, is
mm-hmm.
in this.
So it's a little star-studded there.
Very little, but
So now, if you're in the Kate Bush fan base, you bought the red shoes in what 93,
93, and then you just sat there.
and you sat there.
You just sat there and waited for nothing to happen
In
for
the meantime,
years.
Kate Bush was raising a family.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't
nobody
like
knew that. It was like a big
yeah.
shock. Nobody knew she'd had a kid till he was like 5 years old, and Peter Gabriel let it slip on a talk show. Oh, well, she's a mom now, and everybody's like, what? Because
She
nobody
wanted
knew.
to be she wanted to be a private person, I think, through a lot of
Yeah.
her career, and the music press doesn't necessarily lend itself well to people
Yeah.
being private people. So
And I guess, she was at home raising the kid. That's thus some of those later songs, which we'll talk about.
we're gonna talk about them now because we're on
Okay,
Ariel.
Ariel. Sorry, it's so little. Vinyl was really expensive.
So she's been a long time working on Ariel, and a lot of the songs on it are about being a mom.
Let's see, what's that one called?
Which one?
Oh, Mrs. Bartolozzi, which I think is my favorite song on this album.
Okay.
It's famous for being about washing machine. She's singing about the washing machine, but she goes from talking about, oh, I'm washing these clothes and naming it, to turning it into something entirely different about, your shirt swimming between my legs and all this kind of stuff.
There were a lot of
She
things at
was
play.
making other things of it, but a lot
Um,
of things go on at home. Oh, and the album cover, for one thing.
okay.
What does that look like to you?
It's a sound wave.
Yes, it's bird song,
Oh, okay.
because there's a lot of bird stuff on the album.
Gotcha. I mean, it makes for a very cool album cover, but I feel like at the time it didn't really fit what you expected from a Kate Bush album cover or an album for that
Well, she
matter.
wasn't on it. I think
She wanted to be out of
being,
the public eye.
yeah, and she didn't really want people to see her. She'd gotten older, she'd gotten heavier, haven't we all? And I
Indeed.
think maybe that she just decided I don't need to I don't need to have them looking at me in any sense.
But I think also when you look at the earlier discography we talked about, and this fits a lot more with 50 Words for Snow, her most recent album. My favorite song on Ariel is King of the Mountain, which was at least partly inspired by a drawing that her kid did of the King of the Mountain. But it also is about the fascination she had with Elvis, and not in terms of like as a pop star, but as a person, as trying to live a life kind of post his huge celebrity. And Elvis became something of a, I won't say hoarder, but definitely a pack rat, just with just weird stuff, and nobody
Well,
understood it.
he had some very strange tastes in decorating, shall we say?
Well, and part of that's that new money thing. Like Elvis wasn't the richest kid growing up.
Mm.
But so the song is all about that, and it's the single, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I picked the single. I mean, it's the biggest one off this album. Not that I haven't picked the single on other albums. It's a catchy song, and it's also like the meaning behind it is very interesting, and I think she definitely related to Elvis a little bit when she was writing it.
Probably. And
So
my favorite is Mrs. Bartolozzi.
let's hear those two songs.